Retail lighting design. This is the first part of our video tutorials about the retail lighting design. This video is based on the SLL Lighting Handbook Chapter 12. Hi, this is Nelca Roco and I'm your instructor for this first video tutorial. Retail Lighting Design Chapter 12.1 Functions of Retail Lighting. For the retailer, lighting is an essential part of setting out the stall. Lighting has four major roles in retail premises. They are to attract attention, to send message about the nature of shop, to guide shoppers around the shop, and to display the merchandise. And this is not part of the SLL Lighting Handbook, but this is what the main goal of the retail shop, which is to encourage customers to buy. Subsidiary lighting systems are needed to provide security after closing and to facilitate egress in an emergency. Emergency lighting will not be discussed in this tutorial, and we will be discussing this one in a separate tutorial. Chapter 12.2 Factors to be considered. The factors to be considered in retail lighting designs are the shop profile, the use of daylight or electric light, the nature of the merchandise, and the obstructions inside the store. Shop profile. Retail premises differ in four dimensions. These are price, usage, range of products, and sales style. It is the position of these four dimensions that determine the shop profile. Table 12.1 indicates the most common shop profiles. Table 12.1 Four common shop profiles. The low budget, the value for money, the quality, and the exclusive. Low budget prices usually is bargain, and the usage is weekly. The product range are wide, and the sales style is mostly self-service. While the value for money, the prices are low, the usage is mostly daily, the product range are limited, and the sales style usually have social contact. For quality shop profile, the prices mostly are higher than the first two. The usage is usually impulse. The product range is wide, and the sales style is more of shopping as fun. The last shop profile is the exclusive. The price is expensive, the usage is deliberate, and the product range is of course exclusive. And the sales style is mostly with personal service. Shop profiles matter because different profiles have different lighting styles. Low-budget shops tend to be big box stores using high-level uniform general lighting with no accent or display lighting. Exclusive shops tend to be much smaller and use low levels of general lighting combined with strong accent and/or display lighting on the merchandise. While value for money and quality shops lies between these extremes, with both general lighting and some accent lighting being used. Chapter 12.2.2 Daylight or Electric Light. Many retail premises do not allow much daylight penetration into the shop, so this question is open to discussion. However, in many out-of-town shed stores, daylight may be admitted through roof lights. The use of daylight adds an attractive dynamic element to the store. Chapter 12.2.3 Nature of Merchandise. The type of lighting and the color properties of the light sources used depend on the nature of the merchandise. Merchandise such as bedding needs to be displayed in a warm, cozy atmosphere. This calls for low light levels and a warm color appearance. Conversely, freestanding white goods are best shown at high light levels with light of a cool color appearance, although when incorporated into displays, stimulating a home setting. Lighting that looks like attractive home lighting is desirable. Merchandise such as meat, fish, fruit, and vegetables need lighting that emphasizes whatever characteristic indicates freshness. Example, redness of meat. Therefore, understanding the nature of the merchandise is essential when designing a retail lighting. Chapter 12.2.4 Obstruction. Some stores, such as do-it-yourself stores, have more in common with warehouses than shops. The store is divided into a large number of aisles, and the merchandise is displayed in racks extending to head height and above. Where obstruction occurs, it is essential that the layout of the lighting and the merchandise is coordinated. Chapter 12.3 Lighting Recommendations. The lighting recommendations requires for illuminances, illuminance uniformity, luminances, and light source color properties. Chapter 12.3.1 Illuminances. Retail lighting is essentially a balance between general lighting, accent lighting, and display lighting. This balance itself depends on the shop profile. Therefore, the illuminances to be used depend on the shop profile. For low-budget shops, where there is no accent or display lighting, the average illuminance should be in the range of 500 to 1000 lux. This illuminance should be provided on the merchandise. For a supermarket, this means on the vertical faces of the shelves. For a shop with an exclusive profile, which means the widespread use of accent and display lighting, the average general lighting illuminance should be in the range of 100 to 200 lux. This lower illuminance is necessary for the accent lighting to be effective and should be provided on a horizontal plane at counter level. For shops with value for money and quality profiles, where some accent lighting is used, the average general lighting illuminance should be in the range of 250 to 500 lux and should be provided on the merchandise. Chapter 12.3.2 Illuminance Uniformity. Regardless of the shop profile, general lighting should be uniform. An illuminance uniformity, which is minimum over average, of at least 0.7 should be achieved by the general lighting alone. The place where accent and display lighting is used, the overall illuminance uniformity is surely by design is very low. Chapter 12.3.3 Luminances. For accent lighting to be effective, the luminance of the merchandise lit has to be higher than the luminance of its immediate background. Different luminance ratios will give different strengths of highlights and shadows. Table 12.2 indicates the luminance ratio for different strengths of accents. Table 12.2 Luminance ratios for different strengths of accent lighting. The luminance ratio for 1, the strength of accenting is none, and for the luminance ratio of 2, the strength of accenting is noticeable, while for 5, it is low theatrical, and for 15, it is theatrical. For the luminance ratio of 30, the strength of accenting is dramatic, and for the luminance ratio of more than 50, the strength of accenting is very dramatic. Chapter 12.3.4 Light Source Color Properties. The color appearance of the light used in a shop will contribute to the message of lighting sent to would-be shoppers. A cool light appearance tends to convey a business-like atmosphere, while a warm color appearance indicates a homely feel. As a general rule, the color appearance of the light sources used changes from cool to warm as the shop profile moves from low budget to exclusive. Where daylight is used in the shop, it is necessary to choose a light source color appearance that blends well with it. For some merchandise, the color appearance of the light used is important. Chiller cabinets looks fresher and white goods look crisper and cleaner under a cool light source. Conversely, gold looks more attractive when illuminated by a warm light source. The other aspect of light source color properties that needs attention is color rendering. In general, light sources with a CIE, General Color Rendering Index, greater than 80 should be used in retail premises. This will often be satisfactory, but where the merchandise is most likely to be seen under different lighting, example, a coat is most likely to be seen under daylight, it is wise to use lighting that does not distort the color of the merchandise relative to how the merchandise will be seen in use. For some retailers, there can be a temptation to choose a light source that enhances the appearance of the merchandise. An example is the notorious butcher's lamp, a lamp that exaggerates the redness of meat. This is a temptation that should be raised. In other shops, it will be important to choose a light source with color rendering properties that gives an appealing appearance to human skin, particularly in areas where an individual's appearance may be closely examined. Example, fitting rooms. While the CIE General Color Rendering Index is a useful guide, the final choice of light source is best made by viewing the lit objects of interest. Chapter 12.4 Approaches to Retail Lighting. We will be discussing general lighting, accent lighting, and display lighting. Chapter 12.4.1 General Lighting. General lighting in shops with a low budget or value for money profile is usually provided from a regularly array of luminaires, and these luminaires range from bare fluorescent lamp buttons through recessed fluorescent louvers to pendant metal halide globes. The purpose of such general lighting is to produce a uniform illuminance over the relevant plane without causing glare. In shops with quality or exclusive profiles, the architecture is more likely to be a feature of the store, and the general lighting will need to be integrated with it. This may involve the use of recessed downlights, cove lighting, or suspended uplights rather than a regular array. Regardless of the lighting approach used, the appearance of the luminaires needs to be consistent with the style of the shop. Chapter 12.4.2 Accent Lighting. Accent lighting is designed to provide additional illuminance on some areas as to emphasize specific items of merchandise and to provide a meaningful variation in brightness and shadow throughout the store. If well done, accent lighting can guide shoppers through the shop and draw their attention to merchandise. The best form of accent lighting depends on the area to be accented. For large area wall displays, wall washing luminaires fitted with fluorescent lamps are used. For gondola displays, the lighting can be built into the gondolas. For small area accent lighting, aimable spotlights attached to the power track should be used. Whatever the form of accent lighting, some flexibility is required. This is because the nature and aiming of accent lighting will depend on the merchandise to be accented. As the nature and layout of the merchandise changes, the accent lighting will need to change as well. Where wall washing luminaires are used, the important characteristics of the luminaires is the light distribution, the ideal being a uniform illuminance from the top to the bottom of the wall. A similar consideration applies to accent lighting built into gondolas. The illuminance distribution from the top to the bottom of the gondola should be as even as possible. Where spotlights are used, the luminous intensity at the center of the beam, the shape and dimensions of the resulting light spot with respect to the size and shape of the area to be lit are very important. Accent lighting in shop windows has competition from daylight reflected from the window glass and from the window of nearby shops. Depending on the shielding from daylight and the lighting of adjacent shops, the general lighting of the window during the day needs to be in the range of 500 to 2000 lux, while accent lighting needs to be in the range of 3000 to 10,000 lux. These illuminances should be reduced after dark. Chapter 12.4.3 Display Lighting. The function of display lighting in shop windows is to gain the attention of passers-by and to make the merchandise look attractive. Inside a shop, the main purpose of display lighting is to emphasize the desirable features of a specific merchandise. Inside a store, display lighting can be applied to merchandise open to examination. or to merchandise in showcases. Display lighting is designed to gain attention by using an appropriate combination of brightness, color, and modeling. Relative brightness can be expressed in terms of luminance ratios given in Table 12.2. The higher is the luminance ratio, the more likely the display is to gain attention. As for color, strongly colored light on an object of the same color will deepen the color, whilst strongly colored light on the background and surroundings will change the atmosphere. The modeling achieved depends on the relative strength of light delivered from different directions. Modeling is usually achieved by some combination of key light, fill light, backlight, and uplight. See Table 12.3 describes these techniques. Table 12.3 Descriptions of the components of display lighting. There are key light, fill light, backlight, and uplight. The description of the key light is the principal source of directional illumination. The function is to create sparkle and reveal texture. Fill light, on the other hand, is the supplementary illumination from a different direction. The function is to soften shadows so as to get the contrast in the display at the desired level. Backlight, the description is the illumination from behind and usually above. The function of backlight is to separate the object from its background and to reveal transparent elements. The last is the uplight, and it is the light accentuating parts of the display close to the floor. The function of uplight is to soften shadows that can be used for dramatic effects. Different materials require different display lighting techniques. Table 12.2 lists some of the more common techniques for specific materials. Table 12.4 Common display lighting techniques for particular materials. These materials are uniformly transparent materials, glass and crystal, transparent fibrous objects, example, fine textiles, precious stones and jewelry, opaque shiny objects, example, silver, and opaque textured objects. For uniformly transparent materials, the display lighting techniques is to transmit light from the lit background, uplighting possibly in color. For glass and crystal, the display lighting technique is to highlighting, uplighting possibly in combination with translucent background lighting, colored light. For transparent fibrous objects, example fine textiles, the display lighting technique is a contour lighting from behind. For precious stones and jewelry, the display lighting technique is a small spotlights with a black velvet background. For opaque shiny objects, example silver, the display lighting technique is to spotlights, black velvet background, and highlighting. And for opaque textured objects, the display lighting techniques is to light predominantly glancing across the surface. This is the end of our presentation. In our next video, we will discuss one specific retail lighting design application, probably retail shops. We will tell you the tips and tricks on how to do the lighting design for retail shops. For more info of the other tutorials, please visit www.roco.lightingdesign.com. This is Nelca, and see you in the next video.